What is good, my peeps? It's your Knucka Big Rucker back at you again, this time with an overview of the G.I. Joe Classified Series Cobra Viper Officer and Vipers 3-pack. Yes, indeed, it's number 47 in the line. Yes, even the 3-packs get numbered. And this is pretty cool, especially for those that really missed out on the fiasco that was the Cobra Viper a couple years ago with Classified Series, and of course it being a Target exclusive, it was for most living hell. And this is their chance now to be able to get Vipers if they were unable to do so, or if they were limited in what they could do, because let's face it, these are troop builders, and here we are. We actually get a fire team with an officer and two Viper, we'll call them troopers. And yeah, you heard me say fire team. Forgive me, that's the Marine in me coming out. But yeah, so this would make for excellent opportunities for people to get their Vipers on. Couple years late, but better late than never, right? So as I stated, this is going to be an overview. We're not going to get crazy in depth, but we will see the differences between the Vipers and the officers themselves, and we'll also compare, because there may be some differences between the actual Vipers and the previously released Cobra Island Vipers, but we'll check that out. Anyway, you're looking at the packaging. You see we've got the plastic-free packaging now, and we've got that artwork. It's showing an officer with 4 Vipers flanking him, which is pretty cool. And then we've got, looking at the side here, we've got, I have to tilt it because this is a long box. We've got the iconography showing their specialties, and that this is number 47, as I stated, in the line. Turning to the back, we've got digital render of the officer and the Vipers themselves, and then of course the sketch next to it showing the officer and the Vipers with their respective accessories. And they appear to come with quite a bit, so I look forward to opening and seeing what's the what. And just looking at the this digital render, there are differences with the Vipers versus the Cobra Island Vipers, so we will see that when we get to that segment. And I believe, yes, we're emulating the same thing on the opposite side with the iconography. On the top there, we've got the Cobra logo, and of course the 47 again, and then of course there's the legalese on the bottom. So now that we've seen that, let's get this box open and see what's happening. Before we totally unleash these guys out of the packaging, I wanted you to see how they're packaged within the box. You see that they're all bracketed in pretty nicely. We've got on our far left, that's the officer, and then the 2 troopers. So that's pretty nice. They're held in by turning this around, string and plastic, so that keeps them tight. So if you're a box saver or use your boxes as your storage even after you've opened the figures, you're going to have to keep in mind those strings in the back. I don't think that these guys will stay firmly in place just putting them, sliding their feet back in and bracketing them with that, we'll call it the cross beam there. And the accessories all come in this long box there. It's got some design on it, and I'm sure all the weapons and all of those other accessories will be in here. So that's a pretty nice touch as well. So here we've got our 3-pack, our Viper 3-pack officer, and 2 Viper troopers on a rotating base, so we can get a visual, see what's the what. They're looking good. I can't front on that, but then again, the Viper always looked good. That was one of the reasons for the frenzy. I mean, the look, and of course the fact that they were Target exclusive, Cobra Island exclusives, just made the frenzy even more intense. But let's face it, the Vipers have always been cool looking characters slash figures, and that is no different here. You can see clearly see the differences between the troops and the officer. The officer definitely stands out, and as you would think it should be. So it looks pretty good. We're going to get them off the platter and get a closer look at the differences, the similarities, and then of course the similarities and differences between the Viper troops, we'll call them, and the Cobra Island versions of them, and see what differences there are when it comes to that. But before we do that, I need you guys to go down below, hit that like button for sure, and while you're down there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Help support the channel, build it up so we can bring you some more of this content, and leave your comments if you want to right now. I usually save that for the end, but you know, if you have any critiques, concerns, or questions, leave them below. I do have a question. I've been checking out what's been going on with the content that I upload, and the Marvel Legends really seem to get the most love, followed by G.I. Joe, with Star Wars Black Series bringing up the rear, and seriously bringing up the rear there. So which you know, what lines do you guys really prefer more so than others, if at all? You may not be interested in one line or the next, you know what I'm saying, or you may enjoy all of them. Let me know in the comments below so I can see how to formulate some ideas going forward. Anyway, while you guys do that, and while these guys are getting dizzy, I'm going to show you the accessories. I can tell you that they come with a boatload of accessories, but that makes sense. The individual Cobra Island versions came with a lot of accessories, and those were single packed items. So here we've got 3 figures, and so you can imagine the accessory quantity. This right here, the backpack, is the one accessory that we get 3 of these that they all share, and they're all identical. So what you see here, the other 2 are exactly the same. You see that the backpack is molded in a black plastic, and you've got the red Cobra insignia, you've got gray grenades, and of course an off-white rope, and that's about it. You get no other paint apps. You got the peg, and let's see here, we're losing it, aren't we? There we go. And so yeah, they all share this same accessory. The next few sets of accessories will be a 2-in-1 type of deal, where the Vipers themselves have their own, and the officer has his own. So as you can see right here, the differences right here, they both the Vipers and the officer, they get a set of visors, goggles, whatever, and you see that the officers is the lenses are painted gold, whereas the Viper themselves, they're painted in silver. Same goes for the hand weapons. The Vipers themselves, they get a different kind of hand weapon as opposed to the weapon that the officer comes with. They're both molded in black. The officer's weapon has red paint on it, so and it's a different style of weapon, as you can see. The officer's weapon also comes with a suppressor, and as you can see, the weapon itself has a hole to accommodate said suppressor, so all one has to do is work it in, and voila, the two Vipers come with their standard long-range weapons. As you can see, we've seen these before with the original Vipers, molded in a flat black. The officer comes with his own kind of weapon, unique, different from where the Vipers themselves come with, also molded in black. It has a telescope on it, and yeah, all different than the Viper weapons. Another weapon included that's just by itself, so you can equip this with whomever you want. I guess this would be the weapon that would be opposite of the other weapon that a Viper would use, so that way they have two separate kinds of weapons. I'm assuming that that's what that's for. So you've got this particular weapon. It's also just molded in a flat black, and then of course the same thing goes for this is another one that we get, and once again, you know, sky's the limit on how you want to use them, but they are there, of course, also molded in a flat black. We also get a bunch of effects, so you get a whole bunch of blast and muzzle effects. Like here, I'm just going to start going right through them for you guys to see. There you go. You've got a rapid fire effect right here, all done in this translucent yellow, orange, red. You've got one type of blast right here. You've got another kind of blast right here. It looks like it's sweeping up. You've got what might be either you've got a different kind of blast there, fluorescent, like a kind of an orange right there. You've got another kind of blast right there. See, I'm not done, still going. Some more. The fun just doesn't stop. And we go, here's our last blast effect right here. You see that? But that's not the last effect at all. We even have a smoke effect too. So yes, like I said, we got a bunch of accessories with this pack. Here we have our Viper fire team here off of the rotating base, and you can see that the three of them together. What we're going to do is take a close-up look at the officer and one of the Vipers to check out the differences there up close. So of course, the obvious out of the way, one is molded in a gray, which is the officer, and the Viper, molded in a blue primarily. Helmets molded in blue. You see the visors. The Viper, we'll call it the Viper Trooper, is the visor is silver, whereas the officers is gold, and the lining of the helmet around the cheek area where it meets the visors, they're a different color as well. You see that the officers is more of an orange, whereas the I'm just going to call it Trooper to keep it simple, is a red. Then of course we have the differences in the vests. They're reversed, if you can tell. The straps at the top of the vest, the Troopers straps are red, whereas the straps for the officer is black, molded in the black. And then you have the vest itself. The Trooper's vest is black, whereas the officer's is the red. It's kind of like a rustic brownish kind of red. Then of course the insignia on the officer, the Cobra insignia is yellow, whereas on the Trooper, the Viper Trooper, the insignia is red. Black grenades for the officer, red grenades for the Trooper. And then of course you have oh, there he goes. We're back up. There he goes. We've got black highlights on the buckles for the officer, as you can see there, whereas on the Trooper we've got red striping, and it goes all around. You don't get that with the officer, but you do get that with the Trooper. The belt insignia, they're both in black, but with the officer, his pouches and what have you is red, and his Cobra buckle insignia is silver, whereas on the trooper himself, it's all black. The pouches and what have you, black. His insignia is a red, and then of course the pads on the thighs, they're both that rustic red. The same thing with the inner thighs, they're both that rustic red, so that all stays the same. The boots are black, all the same. Turn it around, you get nothing really different there. So yeah, like I said, the belt is basically molded black, and you've got the red with the officer. The hand guards on the arms, the wrist guards I should say, on the officer, they're mostly red and they've got black, whereas it's all black for the trooper, with the exception of the back of the wrist gauntlets there. They're the red. So that is the differences in the paint apps with our officer and our trooper. For the sake of our Viper against Viper comparison, I equipped our 3-pack Viper fully, so that way you can see all the differences, starting with the accessory. So on our left we have our 3-pack Viper, and on the right we have our Cobra Island Viper. And the 3-pack Viper, as you can see, the goggles are of course molded in black, but the lenses themselves are silver, whereas our Cobra Island Viper, the goggles are just all black. The handkerchiefs, the scarves, bandanas, whatever you want to call it, they're basically the same, even though it's slightly lighter on the 3-pack version, slightly lighter. The visors are essentially the same. Of course, the differences are the when you look at the reds, the 3-pack version is more of a brick red, whereas the Cobra Island version it's brighter, as you can see in there, and that even extends to the inseam of the helmet, where the helmet meets the visors. On our 3-pack, that coloration is the brick red, whereas it's the bright red on our Cobra Island version. You see that all of the striping is one is the brick red, and the other is the bright, more vibrant red, the other being the Cobra Island version. And that extends to the wrist guards and the interior of the the thighs, and the exterior of the thighs as well. When you turn to the back and look at the backpacks themselves, you'll see that let's get our guy here straightened out, that you have differences right there. Our Cobra Island backpack has a blue background and the red insignia. The grenades are red, and the rope is like a gray, whereas on our 3-pack the rope is white. The Cobra insignia is the brick red. Our grenades are gray. And and I found something out. I was wrong when I went through the accessory portion and spoke on how the backpacks for all 3 figures were the same. I was mistaken, because even that's different. The officer's backpack is different. You see, the officer's backpack has got the white background, and it's got a gold Cobra insignia, and but everything else is essentially the same with that, but they still made that stand out differently too. So yep, my apologies on that, but you see, I made it for it. I didn't try to play it off. Anyhow, getting these more centered, you see that those are the differences there with our troopers. So there are differences that distinguish them from one another. So that is the cool thing. They both, fortunately, both have holes at their weapon, so you can apply those blast effects. So there are the differences with our Vipers. All three are basically the same, so we'll just use the Viper Officer for our height measurement, and also for subsequent articulation. He, and by extension they, stand a tick over 6 inches tall. And as far as the articulation goes, the head is on a ball hinge. Because of the bandana and because of the nature of the helmet, going back is not very viable. It can look down some, about that much. As far as rotation, you get, of course, you could do the 360. With the vest, you can scratch whatever diaphragm we have in there. You're not going to get anything. The vest, while looking good, impedes big time. Shoulders, you heard that click right there. You can get him to raise it up 90. We can rotate 360. He's got the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. He's got the swiveling wrists, and the left wrist has the vertical hinge, whereas the right wrist has the horizontal hinge. So I guess technically, our Vipers are lefties. You do have the waist articulation there, so that's cool. You have drop down legs. You can do the splits, Van Damme style. You can go up to 90, go back quite a bit because of that drop down. You do have thigh articulation. It will rotate. Double jointed knees. You get no boot cuff, right? Is that a boot cuff in there? It looks like it is, but I'm not going to force the issue. I'm going to say no. You can point the toe that far forward, not that much up because of where the foot meets the shin guard. It impedes. You do have ankle pivot, and of course, you know what it is: holes, pec holes at the bottom of his feet. For some comparison, here's one of our Vipers with our recently reviewed Kamakura. And here he is with the also recently reviewed Blue Ninja 2-pack, Amazon exclusive. And bringing up the rear, we've got our little fire team together, showing off some of the effects that comes with this set. There's a lot of fun factor playability with this. You cannot go wrong with this set. I cannot stress enough. So I guess I'm summing it up for you. So yeah, to sum it all up, the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Viper Officer Viper 3-pack is a winner, head to toe for sure. You have the officer distinguished from the Vipers. The Vipers definitely have different color deco than their Cobra Island counterparts, but not enough to, set them totally apart. If you have any of those Cobra Island versions, you can make them like their colors could be different, different ranks or a different type of tier of Viper, what have you. They are a specialized branch of Cobra infantry anyway, so you can just go further with that. Once again, the accessories that comes with is great. So as you can see, I've got all three with different weapons. So yeah, you can just make things totally unique. The fun factor is just crazy. I am loving this, and I'm already trying to brainstorm how I'm going to set these up. I've got a few of the Cobra Island Vipers as it is. I think I've got 5 or 6. And I've got 3 packs of these guys, so I've got my instant army for sure. You know what I'm saying? And that means I've got 3 officers to lead the squad. So there it is. So they will definitely be a welcome addition to your collection. So I will leave it at that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, critiques, leave them below. And if you want to be notified for the next time I upload a video, Hit that bell while you're down there, and you shall be notified. On behalf of the Cobra Viper officer and his two minions, the Vipers themselves, I am the Ruckus, and I'm leaving you with this. Remember, the hunt continues, and I'm out. Peace.